Well guys, we are here, the summer movie season of 2025, as I like to call it in Australia, blockbuster season in 2025. Yes, there's going to be a lot of big movies coming out this year in the blockbuster season. Now, I gotta say guys, 2025 has, to me, not been the best year so far. I would say Sinners and Warfare and Companion really stood out for me so far in 2025, but there's been a lot of disappointment, so I'm praying this blockbuster season gets better within the movies that comes out in 2025, and there are a lot of ones that I'm looking forward to. So of course guys, you know how this works. I do this every single year. Let's talk about the movies that I'm excited for the blockbuster season of 2025, or else the summer movie season of 2025. So starting off with some honorable mentions. Starting off with Ballerina, Weapons, a movie that recently caught my interest. Hurry Up Tomorrow, The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega's new movie. Lilo and Stitch. Materialist, Celine Song's new movie who directed Past Lives, a movie I really do like. Elio, Pixar's new film. Freakier Friday, Nobody 2, and Mike Flanagan's new film, The Life of Chuck. These movies I'm looking forward to, but of course they're not into my top 10 list, but I'm excited for those movies and hopefully those movies turn out the way I wanted. Now, let's talk about the 10 movies that I'm anticipating for the blockbuster movie season, the movies that I want to succeed, and movies I wanted to be good. Starting with my number 10 is Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, I enjoy this franchise. I think the Final Destination movies are my biggest guilty pleasures. You know, they're very fun movies, and I gotta say, Final Destination Bloodlines looks like a fun time at the movies, and that's what blockbuster movie season is all about. You know, not just great movies, we want some fun movies too, and this movie looks like a bloody good time. I like that this movie centers around a family this time. You know, most of the movies are centered around friends and stuff, and like civilians. Family keeps more interest. I think it makes this movie much more, I would say, engaging, because it's about this family trying to stay alive throughout the death trap situations, and I just think the trailers of the film look really intriguing. I'm praying that the trailer doesn't show too much deaths. I want to see some new deaths in this movie, but from the deaths that I've seen in the trailer, this movie looks like a bloody good time and a great new addition in this franchise. I'm seeing this movie this Friday. I'm looking forward to it. Coming into my number 9 is Karate Kid Legends. Now, I love the Karate Kid franchise. I've grown up with the Karate Kid. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And of course, I love Cobra Kai, one of my favorite TV series of all time. So now, basically, we have a No Way Home situation here, where basically Daniel Russo teams up with Mr. Han from not only a remake of the Kung Fu Kid to team up to help this Asian kid learn from Kung Fu to Karate. And I thought that's a very interesting concept from that new trailer. You know, a kid that knows martial arts, but he needs to learn a different martial arts to defeat this other bully. I thought it's a very interesting concept. And I think Jackie Chan is going to be much more of a main character than Ralph Macchio. It looks like Ralph Macchio is not going to be in the movie all that much, but I do want to see this team up. And it just looks like a completely different Karate Kid movie, and I'm really interested to see this spin. And the action scenes look freaking amazing. The choreography looks incredible in this film. So let's see what we got for the new edition of the Karate Kid franchise here. Coming into my number 8 is How to Train Your Dragon. Now, between Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, the live action movies that I was more interested in, I gotta say, How to Train Your Dragon really caught my interest. Now, this is a live action remake of one of my favorite DreamWorks films of all time. I love the original How to Train Your Dragon. I thought it's a great film, and I am expecting this movie to be the same movie as the original film, but hopefully it's a fresh new take on the story of the original film, not felt like a shot-for-shot remake. And so far what I saw in the trailer, it looks like it's going to be that. And I gotta say, the visuals of the dragons look absolutely incredible that I saw in the trailer. I cannot wait to see Toothless once again on the big screen. I'm definitely seeing this movie in IMAX. This movie looks beautiful. I thought the cast is great. I love that Jared Butler is returning, reprising his role from the original films. But I gotta say, the kid is playing Hiccup, who was from the Black Phone. I like this actor. I thought he was great in that movie. Cannot wait to see him as Hiccup. It just looks like a very fun ride. It definitely looks like a visual spectacular. And it's one of those remakes that I would say, I would understand that this is a remake, because this story of How to Train Your Dragon can be treated as a live action as well, as long as it has some good visual effects, and the movie does look spectacular. So, let's hope this is a very serviceable remake. Coming into my number 7 is Megan 2.0. This movie looks like a total blast for me because, first of all, they're doing the Terminator 2 situation with Megan, kind of making her the hero in this movie, unless the trailers make us think that and the movie turns out way different than we think. That would have been interesting. But of course, seeing Megan back on the big screen again doing her thing. It's just awesome to see, because I thought the first Megan really surprised me. I was not expecting that movie to be good at all, but man, that movie really surprised me. So of course, when it ended off as it is, I was looking forward to the sequel for a while, and just the way this trailer is, it looks very interesting, and it made Megan look more like a badass than she actually is. So let's hope Megan 2.0 is a successor of the first one, and hopefully it is a much more spectacular and also a really fun blast. Coming to my number 6 is 28 Years Later. Now, I love 28 Days Later. I think it's one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. I love Danny Boyle. I think he's a great director, and it's really cool to see Danny Boyle and Alex Garland returning for this third installment, and it's actually a part 1, I would say, because there is another one coming out next year as well, which I was so unaware of. But man, the trailers of this film, this movie looks intense, bloody, thrilling. I love the cast in this movie. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, great casting. You know, there's a lot of big people in this movie, but man, the direction that Danny Boyle has brought us to the film, especially that this film is filmed on an iPhone, what I heard, it looks spectacular. I feel like I'm saying spectacular a lot in this summer movie list, but this movie looks bloody, it looks insane, it looks actually really terrifying and realistic. I still have not seen 28 Weeks Later, guys, I know, don't kill me, but definitely when this movie gets close, I will check it out. I'm definitely rewatching 28 Days Later before this movie, because man, this movie looks bloody insane, and I cannot wait to see another installment of this franchise. Okay, now we're in the top 5, the 5 blockbuster movies that I'm so looking forward to in this season of 2025. Coming to my number 5 is F1, or Formula 1, as some people call it. This is Joe Kosinski's new movie. I love Top Gun Maverick. I think it's one of the biggest surprises, I would say, probably in a while. I was not expecting that movie to be good, but it became probably one of the greatest sequels in a while. So of course, seeing that spectacular of Joe Kosinski's direction with that movie, bringing with Formula 1, it just looks amazing. I'm definitely seeing this movie in IMAX. It's probably my most anticipated IMAX film of this year, because man, the shots of the Formula 1 racing looks absolutely fantastic. I love Brad Pitt. Great actor, cannot wait to see how he goes in this movie. You know, I'm not the hugest Formula 1 fan, my dad is, so I'm interested to see this movie with my dad, but of course, I love sports movies, I love underdog stories, and this movie looks like it's going to be another one of those underdog stories. But I cannot wait to see how the story becomes, and also how Joseph Kosinski directs this movie, because man, the look of this movie looks incredible. So I'm definitely seeing this movie on IMAX, my most anticipated IMAX movie of the year. This movie looks spectacular. Coming into my number 4 is Bring Her Back. I cannot believe I have not heard about this movie or put this movie in my anticipated list of this year, because man, Danny and Michael Philippa, who directed one of my favorite horror movies in a while, Talk to Me, is directing a new horror film. I was so unaware until I saw the trailer, and I'm like, done. I'm putting this movie in my anticipated, because come on, Talk to Me is one of the biggest surprises of that year. I love that movie so much. It's definitely one of my favorite horror films of this decade. So of course, Danny and Michael Philippa, known as Raka Raka YouTubers, are making another horror film. How can you not get excited for that? This movie looks disturbing. It looks creepy. It's a take on the foster care story, and I gotta say, Sally Hawkins looks like she's gonna completely nail the role that she's given. It just looks very terrifying. It looks very vague. Don't know what is going to happen. I'm praying that this movie gives me the chills and gives me the fright, because out of the blockbuster season, this is my most anticipated horror film of that year. I cannot believe I did not know this movie even existed until I saw the trailer. I'm like, holy shit, this had to be on my anticipated movies of the year, and for some reason I haven't heard of it, so of course it is an honor to put this movie in my anticipated summer movies of 2025. Coming to my number 3 is Fantastic Four First Steps. This is my most anticipated MCU film of this year. You know, Fantastic Four hasn't got a great track record, and I felt like this could be the movie that can bring a good Fantastic Four movie. Love the cast in this movie, from Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn. The cast is incredible. It looks like it's going to be the most memorable cast of this year. They look like they're going to completely nailed it. We have a female Silver Surfer in this movie that looks interesting, and also Galactus. We finally get to see Galactus in the true form on the big screen, not a fucking space cloud from Rise of the Silver Surfer. But after I watched Thunderbolts this year, which I'll get to my review later, it got me more curious to see how this movie turns out. It's the first movie in the Phase 6 of the MCU, and it looks like it's going to start off with a bang here. I'm praying that the direction of the movie is good. We need a good Fantastic Four movie, and I'm praying that this movie brings us exactly what we wanted, and this looks like a very fun and also very curious film. What I mean by curious is how the Fantastic Four from this futuristic 60s multiverse world came into our world. I'm really curious to see how that comes. There's a lot of theories out there, so let's hope this is the best Fantastic Four movie we got, and another great MCU film that came out this year, because Thunderbolts may have bring the MCU back, which we'll get to that review later. Coming into my number 2 is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Of course, Mission Impossible franchise. Love this franchise, and this might be the last time we're going to see Ethan Hunt in this universe. Maybe, don't know, but from the trailers, it looks like it might be the last time we're ever going to see Tom Cruise in this role. But definitely this movie looks very concluding. From the trailers, it looks very epic. This is going to be the longest Mission Impossible film as well. It's going to be like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, which, man, it definitely has that finale tropes right here. But I'm really curious to see how this franchise ends in a way, because the trailers of the film look absolutely incredible. You know, ever since Ghost Protocol, I feel like this franchise just gets better and better with the more movies to come. Fallout is always going to be my favorite. Dead Reckoning, I just feel bad for Dead Reckoning that came out a couple years, because I felt like it released at the wrong timing with Barbenheimer. I feel like that movie deserves more credit than it deserves, so hopefully The Final Reckoning gets much more of a recognition and comes out at a better time. But I feel like it is, you know? I feel like this movie's going to do so well in the box office, and of course, it's a Mission Impossible film. I gotta put in my anticipated blockbuster movies of the year. This movie looks incredible, the action looks great, the cinematography just gets better and better by the way it looks. And the stunts of Tom Cruise, of course that plane stunt, of course it looks insane, and I cannot wait to see that in IMAX. I wish that movie is my number 1, but of course my number 1, you know what my number 1 is. This is my most anticipated movie of this year, so of course I'm putting my number 1 most anticipated movie of the summer movie season of 2025, and of course that is James Gunn's Superman. Now, of course, this is my most anticipated comic book movie of this year. Now, I know this movie's getting a lot mixed by other people. Some people say, oh, he's not my Superman, Henry Cavill's my Superman. Some people are doing like fake reviews for this movie, which I just feel like it's unfair. I'll be honest, this Snyder universe is not the best. There are some great movies, so I'm just praying that James Gunn universe kind of fixes comic book universes to life. And I feel like David Collinsworth is going to absolutely handle it as Superman. And of course, this movie looks very lighthearted, which I like. Some people don't like that. I like that about this, because of course Superman is supposed to be a light of air. He's supposed to be this light-hearted superhero. He's the very first superhero that ever existed. And I just love that this movie looks very comic book-ish. I love the way this movie looks. I cannot wait to see how David Collinsworth's going to nail it. Cannot wait to see all the rest of the cast in the film playing their roles. Of course, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Cannot wait. And of course, Krypto. I didn't get to mention Krypto in my anticipated. Krypto looks adorable, especially for that sneak peek. I cannot wait to see Superman's chemistry with Krypto in the film. But the action looks great. This movie looks spectacular. I'm praying that this might be one of the better comic book movies that came out in a while, because I believe in James Gunn. He can write and direct movies so well. If he could do well with the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, he can do well here. So Superman, I'm praying for you. Please don't suck, because you're my most anticipated film of this blockbuster season of 2025. Please, Superman. Please, David Collinsworth. Please, James Gunn. I believe in you. So guys, that is my list of my most anticipated movies of the summer movie season of 2025, otherwise known as the blockbuster season, because of course I live in Australia. It's basically autumn right now, so that's why I'm calling it the blockbuster season, because of course that season is when all the big movies are coming out. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what are your most anticipated movies of the blockbuster season or summer movie season of 2025? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below, keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.